Hello and welcome to this video presentation. My name is Paul Brett. I'm a Senior Software Support Analyst supporting the Transformation Extender product from IBM. Today's topic is using the ITX10 JDBC adapter with a MySQL database. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at PaulBrettIBM. For today's demonstration, I will design a map that uses a GET rule on the JDBC adapter to try to retrieve data from a remote JDBC source. Should the GET rule not work, the last error message function will kick in and we will get information about what went wrong. The last step in the process will be downloading a JDBC driver from the website that you see on screen. We're going to start this demonstration in the ITX 10.1 Design Studio. As you can see, I've opened it up and it's ready to go. First thing I'm going to do is in the Extender Navigator I'm going to create a new Extender project. This project I'm going to call JDBC. Okay, in the File Explorer window you will note that the project is currently empty. First thing I'm going to do is create a new type tree. I'm going to call that type tree generic.mtt. This type tree is going to have one object called text item, and within the properties window I'm going to change it from a category to an item. If we go into the tree menu and choose Analyze Structure and Logic, that's the final step that's required before saving and closing this file. Moving on, in the map files section I'm going to create a new map source. I'm going to call my map source test.mms. Within the map source I'm going to create a new map. I'm going to call this map test1. And then within test1 I'm going to create a new output card and call that out1. The type tree I'm going to use is the only one in the project, generic.mtt, that I just created. And the type I'm going to use within there is the only type that exists, text item. I'm going to write my output to a file called output.txt, and we'll review that file shortly after we've built the map. Okay, the map needs to have a rule in the output card, so let's start that then. We're going to use the get function with the JDBC adapter. And the first argument I need to pass in is the URL. Now your database administrator should give you a URL to connect to your JDBC source. I have that in my clipboard, so I'm going to paste that in now. The next thing we need is a username, which I'm going to pop in, user Scott, and a password, which is going to be Tiger. I'm going to turn on the JDBC adapter trace with -t, and the final thing I need is a query to run, which needs to go in between two single quotes. I'm going to put select star from test1. So that's my connection string finished and the end of my get. But on the end I'm going to tag on another function, last error MSG. This will tell us if anything's gone wrong and place that in the output file for us to review, as well as the adapter trace. So I'm going to save that map. I'm going to build. I'm not going to execute it from within the Design Studio because I want to show what happens when the JDBC adapter itself is not found, which is the situation you will find yourself in a standard command server or launcher installation. Let me demonstrate. I'm going to open a command prompt into my project directory. I'm going to alter the path variable to find the ITX10 installation. And I'm going to fire up the command server to run my test1.mmc map. The map will complete successfully because I didn't have any valid function in there to check that the get has worked, but I'm fairly certain the get will have failed. Back in the Design Studio, in the miscellaneous, we'll refresh the project. In miscellaneous we have the output.txt file. So let's open that for review. Drag that over there. we see adapter not found. Okay, so this is the error I was mentioning. The reason the adapter is not found is because the jar file for the JDBC adapter is not added to the class path by default. It is in the Design Studio, and in the Design Studio, if I was to run this map, we would get a different error. We'll do that now. Hit the run, map completed successfully, and we get an exception occurred that no suitable driver is detected. So it's got past the loading the adapter, but cannot find a driver. We'll come back to that one in a moment. Let's go back to the command prompt and show you how to fix the adapter not found issue. What we need to do is set the class path variable to point to the IBM ITX10.1 installation, and within there the jars subdirectory, and then within there the JDBC subdirectory, and then the M4 jdbc.jar file, and then add on the rest of the class path after that. If I now execute the command server in this command prompt with the altered class path, we should get exactly the same error message that we were getting from the Design Studio. Click yes, this has updated, exception occurred, no suitable driver has been detected. So there we have it. Our command server is now up to the same as our Design Studio. The JDBC adapter can be found, but now we're still missing the driver. So let's do that next. So this is going to involve another edit to the class path variable. So let's do that now. Set class path equals, and I'm going to point it to a download directory on my system, where you will find that I have a jar file that I've downloaded from the MySQL page, and it is a platform independent jar file with everything needed to connect from any platform onto a MySQL source. So let's put the original class path back in. Now when we run our command server in this environment with the 2 additional jars in the class path variable, we should see a success in the output window when this map has finished. It's taking a little bit longer to run, which is a good sign because it means that it's actually connecting to a remote database. And if we now go to our Design Studio and update the output file, we've got a record from the database that says one record from VMHSXTST, which, as you can see, is the name of my MySQL source. And the table that I've queried, test1, has only one record, and it is this exact text that is stored in that database. So there we have it, how to attach from ITX10.1 to a JDBC source. In summary, all you need is the correct URL to connect to your JDBC source, and in your environment you need to have not only the JDBC adapter jar but also the vendor dependent jar to connect to your JDBC source. I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video presentation today. If you found it interesting and informative, please hit that like button. Consider subscribing to my YouTube channel as I release content such as this on a regular basis. Feel free to reach out to me on Twitter at PaulBrettIBM. Thank you.